time for part 3 of our World Championship races, and we are now officially going to end off our 6 races in Los Angeles. And this is also a pretty suitable send-off location because, well, this is basically where we started the game, and I've also heard that, well, the last 2 races are not quite as hard to win as the first 4 races are. Because, well, there's still going to be chaos, obviously, but I reckon it's not going to be as hard for me to get through the last 2 races, and the vehicle I'm going to be using will be the Torque JX to finish off this game, because, well, I did not use it in the previous episode, and yeah, I'm going to drive this thing in Midnight Blue, which is officially what this colour is. Anyway, won't waste any more of your time, let's just get going.
I've died twice before and I still breathe. This is sort of the same. Okay, maybe you win and relieve me of this burden. To Los Angeles!
I should also mention, Savo does not like being the world champion because of something personal he must have suffered. Probably because he was, well, a war veteran.
You can barely see over the steering wheel, little asswipe.
Or he is essentially a war veteran. At least that's according to what I heard from his fandom page. So, there's one more thing I'm going to do whilst I'm here. I'm going to put the music volume on because once we do beat Savo, we do get the credits afterwards, and this, I would imagine, is going to be my only shot to put the music on, so that's what I'm going to do. So, once we do beat Savo, we do basically get the credits afterwards, so that's my idea of thinking about this. It's also because, well, the credits may also be part of the same recording as this one. As in, they may come in this same recording.
Come on, lad. You have more in you than that.
I really need to figure out how to not crash as much if I'm going to win this race. Because if there's one thing I have been doing a lot of in this race, it is crashing. And crashing heavily. Anyways.
I always win anyway.
Managing to do a better job this time of shooting through onto the highway. I know precisely which direction it is I need to go. It's just a matter of me... Fuck you, truck. I really am starting to wonder now if switching over to the night might actually make this easier. Because this car does not seem to withstand wet conditions very well. I mean, even though it's supposed to be 4-wheel drive, it's also very heavy. Which seems to be what I think is hurting me at this stage. I mean, I'm not saying the car isn't fast. I mean, believe me, this car is fast, but I am wondering if at this stage the night might actually help me to clinch the first race. I mean, I am heading in the right direction, but I'm not sure if this car will get the job done. I'll probably give it a few more goes, and then if this car doesn't do it, then I'll probably switch over to the night, because maybe then the night will actually help me in terms of me clinching this race.
Come on, jockey, you gotta rep
Okay. Well, at least I'm still in this thing. Okay. Well, at least I do a better job of executing that time. And already someone is on the highway, but I don't know where he's going. Anyways. Just passing by an ambulance and making sure that I managed to do a better job this time around than I did before. And not running into whoever that was there. Anyways. Doing pretty good so far, as I'm now leading this race once again, but I just gotta make sure everything goes right in the final sector. And if I can manage to pull this off, then hopefully this should be what gives me the first race, providing I don't do too much of that. But anyway. Yep, okay. And running well so far. Maybe this might actually be the run. Oh, come on, come on. There we go. 35 minutes later. Well, I knew I could do it. It was just a matter of me being able to put together a good enough run to prove that was the right way. And with me improving on my runs as I went along, I eventually got it. That's all there is to it. You know, I almost wonder if this should be my shot now. Because, well, I'm basically the standalone figure against this army of Celines. I mean, the car is actually called the Veloci, but realistically, those cars are all based on Celine S7s. So, I've won the unordered race using the Torque JX, which is basically a Nissan Skyline GTR R34. Made a few early errors here or there, but it's okay because I did come back to win this race. I did what I set out to do. And now the only thing that's left for me to prove is for me to win the second race. And hopefully I can do that. But overall, I'm actually glad to say that wasn't too hard to win. I just hope the second race isn't going to be any harder for me to clinch. But, for now, I'm actually feeling good about this, because I did manage to get past the first 4 races, and now that I'm here, well, hopefully everything from here should go smoothly. Although, I would imagine the second race is still going to take me a few tries to win, but since I've now got the first race in the books, maybe the second race will be something similar to this. Yeah, you know what, I'm just going to end it there. I think there's more than enough footage there for me to get a decent thumbnail. So, let's now move on to the final race. I forgot there was no cutscene here. My mistake.
I have seen it all. Your horrendous driving skills included.
And we are now outside of a football stadium. Presumably outside of where the LA Chargers are based, I think. Because I think it's an American football stadium. So it would probably be the home base to the LA Chargers, or as they were known at the time, the San Diego Chargers. Because, well, at the time, well, the Chargers were Los Angeles' only team before they bought what was known at the time as the St. Louis Rams. Of course, they today are known as the LA Rams, but anyway. You know, general knowledge. It's what I do. Well, I do it very underappreciatively, but yeah, it's what I do.
So what? You can barely see over the steering wheel.
Okay, so I switched over to the night because, well, the Torque JX, well, it's a bit too heavy through the corners. Compared to the night, because, well, the Torque JX, whilst it may be the best car all around, its agility, however, suffers a lot when it comes to basically trying to glide your way through the corners. And that's what I think this car does a better job of, because this car seems to slot itself through the corners a lot better than the Torque JX does. Plus the other reason for that as well, because this thing is a four-wheel drive and it's basically a rally car. I should also mention, part of the reason I switched over to the night is because, well, another guy I know by the name of Reiji did actually complete this game using the night. And he was also able to beat the world champion as well using this car, because he probably knew this car was arguably the best regarding agility. And knowing about why it was such a bitch for me to win this car. Because that's just how good it was. I did also win this car, by the way, from Nico, who did manage to beat me a couple of times, because that's just how good his car was.
Hang in there, you're gonna be the next world champ. I can feel it.
This is a very confusing shortcut, because you've got just about as many things to slide your way through as there are to avoid. It's very confusing about how you're meant to get through those corners. It definitely puts you off, there's no question about that, is what I'm saying. But we shall wait and see what the rest of this race looks like. But at least I can say I'm doing better than Savo. Because, well, Savo at the moment is doing terribly. There's no other word I can use to describe it. He's just simply had a terrible run so far. But I do believe I've got my thumbnail evidence already going into this, so that's not a problem. However, what will be a problem is me figuring out how to win this without getting totally destroyed in the process. since I can guarantee that's going to happen at least once or twice before you actually win this race. I'm also pretty sure the leader isn't going to get very far. And no, he doesn't. Okay. Okay, don't turn too soon this time. Okay. That's what I should have done. Okay, going through the corner now. Still got 2 good shots of nitrous left. Obviously, it'll be easier for me to savour this. Obviously, it will be easier for me to savour these 2 shots of nitrous, which, as I've established, are going to be essential if I'm going to somehow win this. That could have very well costed me victory if I hit that same truck again, but I am glad to say that time around I got through without too many issues. But anyway. As I said before, I've done this once, and I will do it again. If that's what it takes, because I'm pretty sure... Haha, nice try. You ain't catching me out this time. Oh yeah, this car's only at 5 speed. Wow. I've actually got an advantage for once. That does surprise me, in a way, because I did not expect myself to have this much of a lead. Especially because of how this race has gone so far. Well, don't care what happens now as long as I win. As long as I'm consistent enough to win, then that's about the only thing I really care about. Making damn sure I actually pull this off. Okay, so got to slot through this car park here, and there it is. Come on. Yes! And the second time around, that only took me 28 minutes for me to actually get this done. And I won by 6 seconds in the end over nails. And everyone is blowing up. Where the hell is Savo? He must be well behind the rest of us. But anyway, here is your finishing order. I won by 6.1 seconds in the end over Nails, Jalil was 3rd, followed by Kyle, Ivy finished in 5th, Toby 6th, and Savo has just finished precisely 45 seconds behind me. And yes, I have done the math because, well, my finger was doing the counting. But anyways, yeah. So, we have beaten the world champion, finally. And I can definitely say this game really knows how to knock you about. I'm also just gonna check one more thing before we continue. Do excuse me for a moment. Just had to check over my previous video file to make sure I did have some thumbnail evidence, and I'm glad to say I do. So let's now move on to our closing cutscenes of the career mode.
At last, I'm free of this rubbish. You want my car, my title, have a nice life, goodbye. Can I get out of here now?
He did it! All those racers! I finally have a friend who isn't a total loser. See you later, man. But don't be getting any silly ideas.
Gina, I can assure you I won't. And as a result of us beating the career mode, we have now unlocked the How Hard Can It Be 9 cheat code, which is likely going to be a cheat code that I'll probably never use. And also, as you can see, the background colour has changed as well. But anyways, this is the car we win from Savo. It is called the Veloci, and yes, as you can quite clearly see, it is based off of a Celine S7, and it's available in yellow, black, red, and is this silver or is it white? Something tells me it's silver. But anyways, yeah, there we go. So that was the career mode, and before getting back to this, I'm gonna take an overdue extensive break from this game because, well, those last 10 races, they really made me realise if I'm gonna have positive thoughts about the game, then I need to take another break. But I will get back to this game at some point in the new year, and before then, however, I do have another game which I plan on playing to keep you occupied. But yeah, so that's what we unlock from beating Savo, and something else I should show you is from the options mode. If you notice what's down there, we can actually change our options from the main menu. As of which, we technically have game, audio, and also the credits, language select, and last but not least, cheat codes, which I will probably show off at the end of the game. But before then, however, I'm gonna need a break from this game before continuing. So, 84.6% of this game is now complete, which means the remaining 15.4% has to be within the circuit races. So if I just head over to arcade mode and head over to circuit, you will notice that in each of these cities we do have circuit races to go through. So we've got 5 in Los Angeles, I think it's 6 in Paris, yes it is, and 7 in Tokyo. All of that will be to come, but before then, however, as I said before, I'm going to take a break from this game before returning to it. And so, with that, stay tuned for more of Midnight Club 2, and I will continue this in 2024. Circuit Racers, coming soon.